Welcome back, and in this video we're going to go ahead and talk about how we can use the statement of cash flow to assess solvency. So if you remember from our prior video, when we looked at solvency, we pretty much used the balance sheet, right? And we said that solvency is the ability to pay long-term financial obligations, right? So we used the balance sheet and looked at that debt to total asset ratio. In this video, we're going to look at the statement of cash flow and see how does the statement of cash flow help us assess solvency. Well, before we can get into that, we need to know exactly what is the statement of cash flow. And at the end of the day, the statement of cash flow really helps us prove the cash balance. Okay, the statement of cash flow takes our beginning cash balance and it shows us where we either used money or where we got money from. Okay, so when we look at that statement of cash flow, this is very important information that shows how our cash changed over a period, right? So we're going to again look at sources of cash. What activity provided us with cash? What activity used cash? So the cash flow statement is really broken down into three main activities. Okay. And this kind of goes back to the beginning of the course when we talked about a business. And what does a business do? Well, business technically operates, right? They invest and they finance, okay? So the categories by cash flow are operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. Now, when we're talking about operating activities, these are activities that surround our core business, right? We said we used the example of Nordstrom's, right? Well, what's Nordstrom's core business? Well, selling merchandise. We used the example of Louis Vuitton, right? What's their core operation? Making shoes, okay? Then we get into investing activities. So what kind of cash flow are we getting from, or either being used or a source of investing activities? Now this is could be a little confusing, right? Because I think normally when you think investing, you think, oh, I'm going to buy stocks and bonds and all that good stuff, right? Well, not really. When we're talking about investing activities, we're talking about the corporation investing in themselves. So did they buy any property, plant, and equipment? Did they sell any property, plant, and equipment? Right now, that's what we're categorizing as investing activities, okay? Then we get into financing activities. Now, financing activities considers the financing activities of the corporation, meaning, did the company issue any debt? Did the company retire any debt? Did the company issue any of their stock? Right? Did they issue stock for themselves or of their own company? Did they buy back any stock, meaning their own stock from investors out there have stock? The company may want to repurchase that stock from those investors. Those are financing activities. Now, one of the common ratios of the cash flow statement is called free cash flow. And what is free cash flow? Well, free cash flow is the cash flow from operations minus capital expenditures. Okay, now what are capital expenditures? Capital expenditures are our investing activities. Capital expenditures say, did we buy any property, plant, and equipment? Did we buy any equipment to help us operate the business? Did we buy any machines? Did we invest in a new plant? Did we sell a plant? Okay. Did we sell any equipment? So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about investing activities. when we're looking at that free cash flow, we're saying, okay, what's the cash flow from operations? And let's subtract out any capital expenditures we bought. Did we buy any PP&E? Subtract that out. That's our free cash flow. Okay. So nice little quick check here. Which of the following involves the analysis of an income statement? Well, if we go through these, and we'll just start at the bottom. And we'll start at the bottom because we see free cash flow. And we just talked about free cash flow. And we know that the free cash flow has to deal with the statement of cash flows, right? We use the statement of cash flows to calculate that free cash flow. The current ratio, number A. Well, remember, current ratio, we know what that is. Current assets divided by current liabilities. And in order to find our current assets and current liabilities, we have to use the balance sheet. So that has nothing to do with the income statement. Then we look at debt to total asset ratio. Well, right off the bat, we see debt and assets. Well, we know that's the balance sheet, so that doesn't apply. Return on sales ratio. That's the net income divided by net sales. That has everything to do with the income statement. Okay? And again, when we're talking about corporate social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. One aspect of that is socially responsible investing, SRI. Okay. It's important to remember that, we're a corporation. Our sole purpose is to provide a return to our owners, right? So profits are important. But there's other things in life that are important as well, right? Our stewardship, the firm's environmental stewardship. Are we taking care of the planet, right? Are we minding the store, so to speak, right? Are we investing in renewable assets or renewable resources? Are we taking steps to make sure that our carbon footprint is, hopefully decreased by us doing business? I think inevitably there's going to be a carbon footprint, but are we doing the least? Are we trying to invest in processes and conduct our business in a way that lessens that carbon footprint? Consumer protection, human rights, diversity, social concerns. These are all elements of corporate social responsibility, and making sure that as leaders of a corporation that we are investing in diversity training. We're investing in human rights and even animal rights. Maybe we don't test our products on animals. Basically just saying that, as we invest in our business, we're going to make sure that we are being socially responsible. And in order to be socially responsible, we have to make sure that we invest in a socially responsible way. It says here that we could see that investments in SRI funds are near $3 trillion, and it's growing. So I think that's a good thing, especially with all the ills of society that are out there. Global warming. Human rights issues. Companies are taking heed of that and recognizing that, and I said this before, I'll say it again, that we as investors, or we as consumers, really vote with our dollars. And if a company isn't, embodying diversity or supporting human rights or supporting consumer protection, then we're going to spend our money someplace else, right? We're going to go to a competitor who is doing, socially responsible investing. All right, so that's the end of the lecture portion of Chapter 4. When we come back, we're going to do some demo videos of the B problems that will hopefully help you out with your homework. By the way, as I go through these videos and start, continue doing the demo videos and whatnot, I kind of need your help. Let me know what you need. Send me a text, please. Say, hey, you know what, videos are good, keep it up. Or, hey, you know what, I would like to see this in a video. Or, hey, you know, um, we're kind of glossing over something that's really important that I'm not understanding. Can you, dive a little deeper in the videos going forward? I don't know. For example, maybe using Excel. I don't know. Maybe maybe I go too fast, and you're like, I'm a little shaky on Excel. I need a little bit more guidance. Let me know that. Send me a text. Let me know what you need, and I'll make sure going forward um, I'll make sure I hit those in the forward or in the future videos. And as well, if you have any of these concepts, might be as clear as mud, let me know. Send me a text. Get in contact with me. I'd be more than happy to have a phone conversation, or we could do a Zoom meeting, whatever. So I'm how can I serve? I'm here to help you guys. Just let me know. Let me know what you need. Okay, we'll see you in our next video where we start hitting up some demo videos.